Um, today's episode of Adventures in Real Estate Land has to deal with asking questions. Um, you'll get my point here in a little bit. Now, this is kind of a long, turns out to kind of be convoluted story, so hang with me. Believe me, it'll make sense. Um, have a listing that after a couple of false starts, we got an offer, got a great offer. Um, Offer happened to be contingent on the sale of the buyer's property. However, it was in escrow, everything was going great. I checked with the lender, everything was fine. I made the phone calls I needed to make, I asked the questions I needed to ask. We were satisfied, everything was cool. We've gone through the whole process. My sellers actually signed their docs on Friday. We were even going to close a little bit early. I mean, smooth deal, that doesn't happen a whole lot, so yay. And then yesterday happened, and well, we might be a little delayed in closing because the buyer's buyer, like I said, it's convoluted, so stick with me. Our buyer's buyer for their house, everyone had been assured that everything was fine. Turns out that buyer, even though they purchased our buyer's house, non-contingent, is actually contingent. Now, for those of you who, don't understand real estate language, our buyer was selling their house. The buyer on their house that is enabling them to buy our house wrote a contract stating that they did not need to sell a property to be able to buy our buyer's house. And that was wrong. And I could get into the legal technicalities of it, but I'm not going to go there. Basically, they lied. And it's frustrating for everybody. I mean, 3 families' lives are now kind of upended. We did sign an extension. We are hoping to close next week. I'm saying big prayers that happens, and I do believe that it will. However, things could have gone a whole lot smoother had first it been disclosed that buyer once removed needed to sell their house. So we're not sure quite yet whether that buyer's agent was just sloppy, or that buyer's agent was so desperate for a sale that they put it non-contingent, knowing it was contingent. I choose not to think that. Anyhow, we got a mess. So the whole purpose of this is like asking the right questions. When you have a buyer or a seller, say in this case it's my seller, I did the due diligence that I needed to do. I made the phone calls, I called the lender, I did all that stuff. We had proof that their house was in escrow, everything was fine. As far as they were concerned, everything was fine on their end, until it wasn't. So digging a little deeper, sometimes as agents, and especially as new agents, we're afraid to ask the questions. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, do you need to sell this house to be able to purchase the next house? Oh, no, we're fine. Okay. You can take them at their word, and they may honestly feel that way. Take it a step further. Call their lender. If it's somebody you don't work with, and if it's somebody you do work with, cool, even better, because they'll give you the straight scoop. But call that lender and make sure that that's fact, because there's nothing worse than getting to the 11th hour, which we are at, and finding out that we've got not one contingency, but we've got a double contingency that we had no idea was there. From our end, we had no way of knowing, because our buyers had no way of knowing that their buyers weren't being completely honest. So I know I'm being really serious here, and I have my serious face on, but it's a mess. And I'm curious, has anything like that ever happened to you guys? You're going along, everything's great, everything's wonderful, and then something that wasn't disclosed because something outside of your control, nobody asked the right questions. So do not be afraid to ask questions. You are not intruding on someone's privacy. If they don't want to give you their social security number, fine. Don't ask for it. But to be able to do your job, you need to know whether you've got somebody who can actually either buy or sell or whatever the case is. And in the crazy market that we're in right now, and yet is a little bit weird, we're seeing a whole lot more contingencies. We're seeing people that have to sell their homes. And so just go that extra step or 2 steps to be able to cover all the bases. Believe me, it will save you a ton of headaches down the road. So thus ends my little bit of a rant, and hopefully you got a little bit out of this, and we'll ask a few more questions. Never be afraid to call the lender. Never be afraid to call the title company. If it's, if it's a situation like we're in right now. So asking the questions will get you the information that you need so your clients can make the best decision. Looking back, had we known that we had a double contingency, we'd have probably passed on this. Ultimately, it's my seller's decision, and we work for our clients. But had we known this, the situation might have been different. So, hope that helped. Leave me a comment if you've had a similar situation, or you'd like to sit and talk a little real estate or do whatever. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day, and stay tuned for our next episode of Life in Real Estate Land. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.